Going short. I was at a friend's house and saw a number of large OT books from Scientology. If they're his books, does he report everything we do back to Scientology? Okay, so reporting back to Scientology. Let's actually talk about this. Your question's kind of cute, because no, I'm sure your friend is not reporting you back to Scientology, only because you're his friend, you see. The reporting lines of Scientology work mostly for Scientologists reporting on other Scientologists. There are far more. I mean, I'd say the ratio is 1,000 to 1 of knowledge reports or written reports that Scientologists write on other Scientologists versus, there's 1,000 of those for every one report about some public person, some non-Scientologist. Scientologists don't really care that much about non-Scientologists, unless that person somehow becomes hostile or antagonistic to Scientology. So in your example, where you saw that your friend had these books on a shelf, if you don't say anything about Scientology or give them a hard time about it or bring it up ever, or if you only talk about it in favorable terms or even neutral terms, your friend's not going to be alarmed by you. He's not going to do anything about it, and he's not going to report you to Scientology. If you start giving him a bunch of shit about it and start telling him, oh my God, Scientology, didn't you see Leah's show? What the hell, man? You start talking to him straight, he may or may not report you to the church. He's not going to report you to the church so that the church will take action against you. The church is never going to contact you or reach out to you. You're just a friend of some Scientologist. Instead, what the church is going to do is they're going to pull him in, and they're going to give him a long interview, and they're going to ask him all about you and your relationship, and they're going to want to know how close is the friendship, why is he giving you all this crap about Scientology, what's behind that, has he been on the internet, have you been on the internet, what's going on here, did you watch Leah's show? So they're going to interrogate him, and then they're going to tell him, well, look, this is your friend, and he's giving you all this crap about Scientology, so do you want to handle this guy and so he stops doing that, or should you just disconnect? And depending on what the guy says, they'll work out a handling, or they will just have the guy disconnect from you and he won't be your friend anymore. And that's kind of how the sequence of how that works at a very simple level. You would have to, so there might be a report in the church with your name on it, or there might be an interview and notes on that interview with your name all throughout it, right? So you'll become a person of interest for Scientology, but only the local church and only for the fact that you know this guy. If you become a critic of Scientology like me or Tony Ortega or somebody like that, that's when they're going to open up files on you, start printing everything you've ever said that's anti-church on the internet, put it in a file. They're going to start figuring out who you are, maybe do some skip tracing, find out where you work, all that kind of stuff. So that's when they take a more active interest in you, is when you are taking an active interest in them and are going out of your way to be critical of the church. Then they're going to find out about you, and then things might or might not happen depending on how much of a threat they consider you. So that's kind of how that whole thing works. So for the run-of-the-mill regular Scientologist out there who you're friends with or family members with, there's really no reason to worry or be freaked out or anything like that. You're not in any danger.